Hey everyone, welcome back to Global Briefing, the place where we uncover the truth behind the headlines and bring you the real stories that matter. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment that could change the way you see the world. Today, we're diving into one of the most controversial, complex, and emotional topics in South Africa, something that's been described as a national tragedy by some and a political hot potato by others. This is the reality of South Africa's farm murders. South Africa is a country of immense beauty, diverse cultures, and deep-rooted history. But beneath the stunning landscapes and the spirit of Ubuntu lies a disturbing reality that many around the world remain unaware of. A reality marred by bloodshed, silence, and deep polarization. This is the unsettling truth about South Africa's farm murders. In the stillness of the rural countryside, far from the bustling cities, there exists a growing fear among many of South Africa's farmers, especially white commercial farmers, who have become the focus of a gruesome and politically sensitive crisis. Almost every week, headlines emerge about violent attacks on farms, some fatal, some barely surviving the assault, but all leaving behind scars that never truly fade. These attacks are often brutal in nature. More than just robberies, they are marked by levels of violence that raise uncomfortable questions about motive. The term farm murder in South Africa refers specifically to attacks, sometimes fatal, on rural agricultural property owners, their families, and even workers. These incidents have become a flashpoint in the national and international conversation around crime, race, land reform, and historical injustice in South Africa. Yet, facts around this issue are often clouded by political agendas, misinformation, and highly charged emotions. According to official crime statistics and civil organizations like AfriForum and the Transvaal Agricultural Union, South Africa experiences dozens of farm attacks annually, hundreds, in fact, and many of these include murder. But it's not just the numbers that shock. It's the extreme violence involved. Victims are tied up, tortured, burned with irons, stabbed repeatedly, or even executed in front of their loved ones. Often, the brutality seems disproportionate to any material motive. Cash, cell phones, or food may be taken, but the cruelty of the violence suggests a deeper animosity, or perhaps a collapse in the country's social fabric that breeds such hatred and desperation. One cannot talk about this issue without acknowledging the weight of history. South Africa's land was brutally taken from indigenous peoples during colonialism and apartheid. The white minority came to own most of the arable land, particularly the wealth-generating commercial farms. Decades later, the effects of this are still very real. Many South Africans remain landless, impoverished, and bitter toward a system that has never truly corrected the economic imbalances of the past. This has led to deeply divisive debates over land reform, some peaceful, others threatening violence and expropriation without compensation. Some politicians have stoked these tensions, using rhetoric that fuels division. Certain statements, like those made by Julius Malema, leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, have drawn international attention. Malema has claimed publicly that his party is not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now. Such statements, even if not acted upon, inject fear into farming communities and have been cited as examples of dangerous incitement. While there's no direct evidence tying specific political rhetoric to specific attacks, the climate of hostility and unresolved trauma cannot be ignored. The South African government, led by the African National Congress, ANC, has consistently maintained that farm murders are not racially motivated hate crimes, but part of the country's broader violent crime problem. South Africa has one of the highest crime rates in the world. Carjackings, home invasions, kidnappings, and murders plague both urban and rural communities. Black South Africans are, by far, the largest group affected by violent crime. Critics argue that focusing specifically on white farmers risks distorting the broader picture. But defenders of highlighting farm murders say these attacks are not just another statistic. Farms are isolated. Police response is often delayed. Roads are poor, and cell signals are weak. When an attack occurs, help may arrive far too late. Some communities have resorted to private security, neighborhood patrols, and even armed citizen groups to defend themselves. Others simply sell their land and leave, joining a growing number of white South Africans who have emigrated due to safety fears. The media's role has also come under fire. Some accuse mainstream South African media outlets of downplaying the farm murder crisis to avoid feeding racial stereotypes or giving fuel to white nationalist narratives abroad. On the other hand, far-right groups in Europe and North America have used the crisis to stoke their own agendas, portraying South Africa as a place of white genocide. This narrative, while rejected by most researchers and human rights organizations, adds fuel to an already tense fire and distorts the painful realities on the ground. Amid all this, what gets lost is the human element. Every farm attack is a story of families torn apart, communities left shaken, and lives irreversibly changed. Children grow up fearing the night. Widows manage farms alone. Black workers, too, are sometimes caught in the violence, either as victims or accused collaborators. And not all farmers affected are white. Some black commercial farmers have also experienced attacks, although the visibility and frequency appear to differ. South Africa's constitution promises safety, dignity, and equality for all. Yet, on its farms, where the food that feeds the nation is grown, those promises feel fragile. The agricultural sector is critical not only to South Africa's economy, but to its future stability. If farmers, regardless of race, live in fear, they cannot invest in or develop their land. This undermines food security, rural employment, and trust in governance. The way forward is complex. Land reform must be addressed with transparency, justice, and economic realism. Crime must be tackled with urgency and consistency, not just in urban centers, but in the most remote corners of the country. Politicians must choose words that unite, not divide. Ultimately, South Africa stands at a crossroads. It can either confront the hard truths of its present and past or continue to allow trauma, fear, and silence to shape its destiny. Farm murders are not just about land or race. They're about what kind of society South Africa wants to become. One where justice is equal, where every life matters, and where no one lives in fear simply for owning a piece of land. Until then, the countryside will remain haunted, not only by the echoes of gunfire and cries for help, but by the larger, unspoken question: can a nation built on division find a way to protect all its people and finally, truly heal? Thanks for watching. If this video informed you, moved you, or made you think differently, leave a comment, share it with others, and let us know what issues you want us to explore next. This is Global Briefing. See you in the next one.